Hey guys, it's Lady Rainosaro here. And I can't believe I'm shutting that off. Okay. And I can't believe this is it. This is it, guys. We've done it so far. We have started the final chapter. The complete and honestly final prologue chapter-ish. Probably it's gonna end on a cliffhanger bullshit. Blood Drive. So basically I'm gonna be titling this as episode 8 or maybe extra episode or something like that. And you know what, I'm gonna do episode 8 because you know what they say in the thing, number 8. So I'm going with episode 8, Blood Drive. So as far as I know, this is from what I've been told, this is the prologue to the new game, the new Corpse Party game, which has been released in Japan, but I don't believe it's been released outside of Japan just yet. Hold on, I gotta adjust my microphone. There we go. Can you hear me now? Probably could hear me just fine before, but just in case. Anyways, so I am so excited to see this because basically my guesstimations as to what's gonna happen is basically it's just gonna set up for all the cats just knocked everything down, but anyway, basically it's gonna set up the I think it's gonna set up the premise for what Blood Drive the full game will be like. Sadly, Blood Drive is on the PS Vita and so far has only been released in Japan. I have no idea if it's going to get outside of Japan. I hope it's going to get outside Japan. I hope it gets English translated. I don't care about the English dubbing, but I would like it to be subbed in English so I can understand it. So, anyways, yammering on my mic! Even my mic is sick of my shit. Alright, let's do this. Blood Drive. Let's do this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness! Okay.
でね、うちの子が言うにはさ、あの事件は学校で流行ってる学校裏サイトが絡んでるとかね。怖いわね。
And you know what my kid told me? He said that incident was connected to an underground website that's gotten real popular at his school.
ああ、ちょっと前にニュースでも話題になったわね。ブログがいじめの温床になっているとか、出会い系の的にされてるとか。
Oh, I think
あるのあれって。
Oh, I think I heard about that on the news a while back. Profiles being used for bullying and to find dates. Is that kind of stuff still going on?
今でこそあまりニュースとかで表面化しないけど、まだまだ続いてるみたいよ。
I'm guessing Naomi's out. Well, obviously she's outside hearing this, so. Well, the news has stopped covering it, but it's still happening from what I hear.
うちの子もやってるのかしらね。聞いてみようかしら。
I wonder if my kid goes on any websites like that. Maybe I should talk to him about it.
学校帰りの夕方、私はまた来てしまった。
It was late afternoon, right around the time students were returning from home from school. And here I was again.
目の前に聖子の家のインターホンがある。
Oh. Standing right in front of the intercom at the door to Seiko's house.
もうここに来てから1時間以上。ずっと押そうかどうか迷い続けている。
I've been here for over an hour now, standing, staring, wondering whether to push that button.
このままいても本当に不審者だ。昨日も一昨日も私はここで長い間立ち尽くして家に引き返していた。
I must have looked really suspicious, especially since I've been here yesterday and the day before too, and each time I wound up just going home.
今日こそはと思いを固めてきたんだ。意を決して
But today would be different. That's what I told myself. Today I'd actually push that intercom button. I was ready to face my demons. Yeah, children laughing. Even live children laughing terrifies me.
ほらみんな飛び出しちゃダメだぞ
Hey, you two can't just run off like that.
ゆうくんだ。聖子の弟の。
So, that was you, Seiko's younger brother.
よし整列ちゃんと靴履いて
Ahem. Alright, line up. Make sure you got your shoes on tight.
ほら帽子が曲がってる
There we go. Hey, straighten that hat. I'm guessing since Seiko no longer exists, I'm guessing he kind of took over.
いい子だなよしよしじゃあ兄ちゃんと手つないでいくぞちゃんと買い物に行けるかなケイアヤ
Very good. I think we're ready now. Take my hands, please. Now, take my hands, please. Now, you think you two can behave at the market? Kai? Aya?
いい返事だ
That's what I like to hear.
私はとっさに物陰に隠れてしまった。ゆうくんやあの子たちは確かに聖子の兄弟たちだ。
I made sure I hid out of sight while they were leaving the house. You and the other two kids were definitely Seiko's younger siblings.
そう、私はあの子たちに会いたくて来たんだ。
They were the ones I'd come. They were the ones I wanted to see.
何を話せばいいのかわからない。でも聖子は確かにいたんだから。
I had no idea what I'd say to them, but I knew for sure that Seiko existed, so I had to say something.
この携帯の写メを見せて、お姉ちゃんだよって聖子のことを聞こう。
Maybe I'd show them this cell phone picture and tell them, hey, this is your sister, and ask if they remembered anything about her.
大丈夫。説明すれば大丈夫。わからないなんて言う
Oh
わけが
boy.
ない。
This is setting up for a disaster for sure. It'd be okay, I just needed to explain myself. They'd understand, they had to.
私は心を決めて潜んでいた物陰から出た。
I made up my mind. Now was the perfect chance. I stepped out from my hiding spot. Place. Okay.
ね
Hey!
声をかけた私の腕を後ろから誰かが掴んで引っ張った。
But barely made it out a single word before I felt someone grab my arm from behind, holding me back.
誰？
Who's there?
ダメよ、ダメ。
Oh my goodness. Huh. Don't do this! Don't do it!
委員長、
Class rep?
気持ちわかるけど、ダメ。
I understand where you're coming from, but you can't do this.
委員長、篠崎さんが首を横に振って私を制止する。
Our
みる
class
みる自分の視界が滲んでいく。
Our class rep Shinozaki was shaking her head at me. She was determined to stop me from confronting Seiko's family. My vision was starting to blur.
あの子たちに会ってどうするの？わかってるでしょ。結果は。
What do you plan to say to them? You know how it's going to turn out.
だって私は涙が止まらなくなってその場にしゃがみ込んだ。委員長も目に涙を浮かべて私を見つめていた。
I couldn't hold back my tears any longer. I squatted on the ground and looked up at the class rep, who was staring back at me with equally glassy eyes.
私の気持ちを本当に理解して共有してくれるのは
There were only a handful of people in the world who could truly understand what I was going through.
天神症事件から生きて帰ってきたこの篠崎さんとサトシと岸沼とゆかちゃんだけ。
Only those of us who returned from Heavenly Host Elementary School alive. Only Shinozaki, Satoshi, Kishinuma, and Yuka. Shit, I wonder how they're dealing. What? Shit, I wonder how Yuka's doing. Like, holy balls. Oh my goodness.
天神症で命を落としてしまった友達聖子や鈴本さん森重宍戸先生は
As for those who lost their lives there, Seiko, Suzumoto, Morishige, and Miss Shishido.
私たちの帰ってきたこの世界では存在自体が抹消されてしまっていたんだ。
We came back to find that their very existence was wiped clean from this world entirely.
中島さん、聞いて。
Hey.
うなだれて打ちひしがれて歩いていた私に横を歩いていた委員長が意を消したように切り出した。
I was walking home, defeated and dejected, with the class rep at my side when she suddenly addressed me. It sounded like she wanted to tell me something.
私ね、天神小学校を脱出してからこの半月の間、ずっと
I've
学校を支配していた篠崎義恵と
I've been doing research these last couple of weeks at the library, looking up information about the Shinozaki estate.
篠崎幸子、二人の家、篠崎家についてを図書館で調べていたの。
That's the house where Yoshi and Sachiko Shinozaki lived. The place that the beings in control of Heavenly Host once called home.
連続児童誘拐殺害事件の新聞記事にはちょっとしか幸子のことは載っていないし。
You might recall that the newspaper articles we found about the kidnapping and murder incident gave precious little information about Sachiko.
その前の保健医開始事件については地域新聞以外には取り上げられてすらいないからちょっと大変だったんだけれどね。
And aside from local papers, nobody even bothered covering the news about Yoshi's death at all. Digging up this information was no small feat.
地面を見ながらポツポツと話す委員長の口調は落ち着いた静かな決意のようなものが感じられた。
She was looking down at her feet and kept a steady, quiet tone the whole time she was talking. It seemed like this was all leading up to something.
霊やオカルトの話についてはこの子はちょっとした権威だ。私はなんとなく頼もしいような思いで彼女の話を聞いていた。
She was kind of an expert when it came to ghosts and the occult and such, so I trusted her. I wanted to know where she was going with this.
旧天神症のあったこの経験の外れ、山あいの近くにね、篠崎義恵の家があるらしいの。
It seems Yoshi Shinozaki's former home is here in this prefecture. It's in the outskirts by the mountains.
いえ、幸子と義恵の。
Her home? Like Yoshi's and Sachiko's?
そう、この県内よ。
Who was Sachiko's father? Yep, right in our backyard.
そんな近くに？
It's that close?
ええ、天神小学校はもともと私たちの地元にあった学校なの。
Yeah, Heavenly Host once stood where Kisaragi is now after all.
そこに勤めていた篠崎義恵の家なんだから それほど距離は離れていないわよ。
And since Yoshi Shinozaki worked there, it makes sense her home wouldn't be too terribly far away.
ナホさんのブログにも載っていたんだけれど、あの人が幸子さんの片白のオリジナルをサルベージしてきた現地なの。
Naho mentioned it in her notes too, remember? That's where she salvaged the original Sachiko proxy for the ritual.
ね、何かあると思わない？
So yeah, seems like a good place for us to find something, don't you think?
そこには今でも篠崎家の呪いのオリジンが眠っているのよ。呪いを解明する何らかの手がかりがきっとあると思うの。
The origin of the Shinozaki's family curse rests within those walls, and I believe that there must be some clue there that could help shed light on it.
私は思わず唾を飲み込んだ。
She had my full attention now. I swallowed hard as if I were taking it all in.
住所も控えてきた。電車に乗れば1時間足らずで着けるわ。中島さん、調査に行かない？今から。
I got an address too. If we take the train, we could be there in less than an hour. So what do you say, Nakashima? Let's go check it out right now.
篠崎の家。
The Shinozaki estate?
天神小学校では命に関わる思いをした。その呪いの元凶に接近するんだ。危険な目に遭う可能性は数倍高いはずだ。でも
I was haunted by my memories of Heavenly Host, and this would entail visiting the source of it all, where the danger would be far greater, yet somehow.
行こう、委員長。
Lead on, class rep.
時計は午後の4時半を回っていた。
It was right around 4:30 in the afternoon.
寒くなり始めたこの時期だと、向こうに着いてもすぐに日が落ちそうだけれど。
The day was already cooling into night, and the sun would surely be setting shortly after we arrived at our destination.
それでも私は、きっと委員長も、
But neither of us really cared.
一刻も早く出かけたかった。何でもいい。現状を打開するきっかけになるものが見つかるのなら。
I just wanted to be there as soon as humanly possible. If there were even the slightest chance of finding answers, I'd welcome it.
私たちはすがるような思いで電車に飛び乗って、県の端にあるその場所へと向かうことにしたんだ。
The two of us went right to the station and hopped on the very next train. We could find out to the... Wait. Okay, the two of us went right to the station and hopped on the very next train we could find out to the countryside, grasping at straws for all we were worth. I began to wish I'd gone back to change clothes before we left. But if I'd done that, I'd have to explain to Mom where I was going, and I sincerely doubt she would have been amenable to the idea. I could have always gone anyway, of course, but then I'd be directly disobeying my mother and undoubtedly making her worry sick about me. The class rep and I were seated next to each other on a local commuter train I'd never ridden before. There were only 2 other passengers. Much like us, they were simply staring down at the ground and riding in silence, lost in their own thoughts. These last couple weeks have been brutal. All 5 of us who survived were feeling it. We were more exhausted than we'd ever been in our entire lives. But no matter how crazy people said we were, no matter how much our souls ached from the memories, we could never forget Seiko and the others. Every photo we had of them, though, be it on film or digital, had its face blacked out completely. And the scariest, saddest thing I could imagine was the passage of time, because eventually I knew I'd have trouble remembering what they looked like. Listen.
整理するわね。私たちだけは覚えてる。ゆい先生や鈴本さん、篠原さん、森重君。
I want to run something by you. We're the only ones who have any memory of Miss Yui, Suzumoto, Shinohara, and Morishige, right?
天神小学校で命を落とした人たちはみんな最初からいなかったかのように現世の人の記憶から消されている。
Because if you die in heavenly hosts, it's as if you never existed in the first place. You're erased from the collective memory of everyone in the real world. Why was she bringing this up? I just looked down at my knees, trying unsuccessfully to fight back the tears that were welling up in my eyes yet again.
だけどこれを見て。
Well, have a look at this.
ナホの霊界情報局。あの霊能力者の子のブログだね。
Naho's nods to the netherworld. It's just that spirit medium girl's blog, right?
何か気づかない？
Doesn't anything seem odd about it to you? The blog's final entry was the one detailing the Sachiko Ever After ritual, but we already knew that. There were no updates after it because...
あれ、ナホって人、確か
Wait, didn't Naho die?
そう。
Right. But her blog is still up. What? The class rep nodded and looked into my eyes.
ナホさんも天神小学校の中で命を落としたはず。
Naho lost her life in Heavenly Host Elementary School just like everyone else.
どういうこと？
But how can that be?
理由はわからないわ。だけどこの通り全ての人が存在を消されるわけじゃないみたいなの。
But that's the difference between like a picture and a blog. Cause like if I'm pretty sure if you try to like search up a picture of Naho, it probably wouldn't work. Huh. I'm not sure of the reason, but this is proof positive. Proof that not everyone who dies in the school gets erased from existence.
調べたけど同じようにあの学校で亡くなっていた木引先生の存在もこの世にちゃんと残ってた。
I checked on her mentor, Mr. Kibiki too. He also died in Heavenly Host, but just like Naho, there's still ample record of his existence. I was literally on the edge of my seat, leaning in close and hanging on her every word. She flashed me a smile.
希望を捨てないでいよ。
So let's not give up hope, okay? Okay. I was crying hard now, but for the first time since we'd come back, I could see the tiniest, faintest glimmer of hope in the darkness. It wasn't much to go on, but it was easily the best news I heard in 2 weeks, and it made me feel a lot better about this impromptu trip. Even just as one vague clue improved our chances of finding something at the Shinozaki estate significantly. At least now we knew what to look for.
岸駅です。
Now arriving at Kishi.
着いたね。すごい。本当に地方って感じ。なんか空気が美味しい。
Guess we're here. Man, we're really out in the boonies, aren't we? The air smells so delicious.
よかったね。まだ日が明るいうちで。さあ、暗くなる前になんとか現地に行きましょう。
It's nice, isn't it? And we were fortunate to get here while there's still some light left. We should find the estate before it gets dark.
ええ。
Yeah.